You're listening to Inside of You with Michael Rosenbaum. Hi, everyone. How are you today? I hope you're having a good time. We got a special guest today. Every week's a special guest, but this guest, Rob, my friend Rob here. You ever see a show called The Walking Dead?
Yeah, I've seen.
Yeah, of course you've seen it, Rob.
Every episode.
Yeah, you've seen every episode. So has most Americans or foreigners. Pretty much anyone in the world has seen The Walking Dead. It's funny because like Smallville back in the day, I felt like for a while everybody watched us, but we weren't around with social media. Well, this show came about, and it is a social media storm. You cannot comment without hundreds of thousands, millions of people commenting on The Walking Dead. Well, our guest today is Emily Kinney. She was Beth Greene on Walking Dead, Nora from Masters of Sex. But I mean, it was a lot of fun talking to her. It's weird because I was watching her for all these years, and I'm like going, oh my gosh, it's Beth, and a lot of cool questions. But more importantly, I got to really know who she was, where she comes from, and how she got into the whole business, and working at Red Lobster in Times Square. Emily loved that. Her adoption into the comic book world when she first started the show, and how uncomfortable it was. It is uncomfortable because I was thrown into like comic book world land, like with Smallville, and I didn't really know anything about comics. And you sort of have to learn and respect the fans and understand where they come from, and know know what you're doing. You have to do the research, Rob. You do the fucking research.
No, because I wasn't on a comic book show
Thank
ever.
you, Rob. Thanks. How amazing it was to work with the cast of The Walking Dead. She talks about that. Her musical career, which is taking off. And I tried to get her to play a little music for me. You'll hear that. But I'm very excited. Rob, I've been eating like, I usually eat like shit, right?
Yeah, you normally have a bunch of takeout containers at your house when I come over.
Right. But in the last couple of months, I've changed my ways a little bit. You've seen that, right?
Not really. What have you been doing differently?
I've been ordering these foods, these meals, these foods. I've been ordering these foods. No, seriously, you order takeout a lot?
Occasionally.
Okay, and how much do you spend? You and Natalie and Calvin. Calvin probably doesn't eat anything. You give him some breast milk. But what do you normally spend?
I mean, we split a lot, so it's still though between $20 or $30.
Wait, you split a lot. You're married. What do you mean you split a lot?
Split our meals a lot. So we'll go like get a burger cut in half.
That's stupid.
And,
that's just stupid.
Hey, we're not all
what
wealthy actors.
Hey, man, I who's to say? I'm not going to get into wealth right now. Okay, Rob. All I'm saying is that a lot of times we order food and it takes forever to fucking to get here. B, to it costs, there's delivery fee and taxes, and next thing you know, like, how did my spaghetti cost $50? Right?
Some nice spaghetti if you're spending $50 on it.
I'm telling you, it's a lot. But look at this. So these meals that I got right now, this is the first time I've actually liked these meals. They send them to your house. This is different than the other meals. This is the roasted turkey, but I've said it before. Chefs make your food. They have someone deliver them, Rob, to your house. You can put it in your fridge. I put it in my freezer if I want to be gone for a week, and then I just thaw it out. Anyway, it's like really amazing food. You can put it in the microwave. It takes 3 minutes, or like in a skillet or whatever the fuck you want to do. You should start using Freshly, Rob. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, it smells good.
This is like Thanksgiving. This is the kind of turkey you eat at Thanksgiving. This is the roasted turkey. Freshly is offering Inside of You listeners. Listen up, guys. 6 dinners, $39. That's insane. It's like 6 something. I'm not good with math, but go to freshly.com, use the promo code OWN639. Just try it. If you don't like it, then you don't like it. You're going to love it. And you're going to be like, wow, I have 6 meals for the week and I don't have to order and wait an hour and a half. And freshly.com, OWN639, OWN639. Let's get inside of Emily Kinney from The Walking Dead.
It's my point of view. You're listening to Inside of You with Michael Rosenbaum. Inside of You with Michael Rosenbaum was not filmed in front of a live studio audience.
Okay. And I'll say this, that I think my percentage of people that retweet are probably equivalent to yours.
Oh, yeah?
I mean, who cares if you have 1.8 if only 10%? I'm kidding. It means a lot. There's a lot of people who adore you. They adore you.
Thank you. This is the show.
I mean, we're starting.
Okay.
This could be. We could.
Okay.
This is
I
Emily.
wasn't sure when we were starting, but thank you.
Emily Rebecca Kinney. Did I fuck that up?
Nope, that's it. That's my name.
Thank you for allowing me to be inside of you. Are you glad you're here? Are you comfortable?
I think so. I'm kind of nervous.
Why? I'm nervous too because we met at a convention. We go to these conventions around the world. We're lucky enough to have wonderful fans. I've talked about this, and you go and you meet them and you talk to them and spend some time and do Q&As. And so in the green room, like 3 or 4 times a day, you're in the green room where a lot of the other actors are, and you're like, oh, there's the mountain from Game of Thrones, and there's and so we get to sometimes meet each other and go, oh, hey, how you doing? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And we start talking, and we just kind of laughed, and we were talking. I was actually talking to you and Alan Tudyk and the eye patch guy.
David. Yeah.
David.
Who played the governor.
The governor. David what?
No.
David, what was his last name? Morrissey. Right.
Yeah. And.
Great guy.
Yeah. So awesome. So awesome. What
do you think of conventions?
I like them. I feel like when I first started going to them, they were, I wasn't a part of necessarily like comic book culture. And so it was a new thing to me. I didn't even know they really existed until I started getting offers to go to them. So it was interesting at first. I felt a little bit maybe uncomfortable because even though I'm a performer, an actor and a songwriter and stuff, I definitely can be more introverted or at times more shy, I guess. Mm-hmm. So just meeting a lot of new people, even though to them I was super familiar, they're strangers essentially. They're fans, but new people and new faces. And so at first I found it a little bit overwhelming and more exhausting than I thought it would be. And then the more I've done them, the more I start to really, really like them. I love getting to travel to different cities. I like actually getting to hear what fans have to say about the show. It's interesting to me to see what things come up over and over again. It's been great for me in my music. A lot of times at conventions, I'll play shows with my band. So I've had really cool opportunities because of them. And like I said, it's just like, it is really cool to meet people one-on-one. I feel like then they're invested in you and your career in a different way than if they just saw you on TV. It's kind of like the equivalent of touring. A band that came through your city as a kid, you like attached to. Like I can still remember certain bands that came to Nebraska, and then I followed them closer.
What bands?
Well, the Spin Doctors was one of my first.
I hate that one song. Fuck. What is it?
Which one? The
biggest hit they ever had. I used to be a DJ in college, and no one listened to me. Prince.
Yeah, that.
Regrentenstrasse.
You don't like that
What was
song?
it? Prince. No.
Oh.
Then how does it go?
I can't think of it right now.
Rob, how does it go? Spin Doctors.
Yeah. Spin Doctors. I'm trying to think. I went to Chicago and the Beach Boys in Sioux City, Iowa.
Ooh. Counting Crows, maybe? No,
I didn't go to Counting Crows, but they spent a lot of time in Omaha. And so I remember certain girls that they got to go and hang out with that band. They got to hang out with them or something. You
heard about them?
Yeah, I heard these random things of like a senior girl in high school, hanging out with the Counting Crows band or something.
You're like those
so
girls
random.
are whores. The Counting Whores. 1, 2, 3, whores. You're not just hanging with them.
Right.
Wayne, Nebraska.
Yes, that's where I went.
Are there accents in Wayne, Nebraska?
Mm-hmm.
Does everybody wear a cowboy hat?
No.
A lot of cowboy hats? No, it's
I don't
not
think
like
cowboy
that.
hats.
When I think of Nebraska,
there's a lot of farmland and
well, your dad was a farmer, sort of, right? Well, he sold fertilizer.
He's an agronomist. Yeah, he sells.
What does that mean?
He sells seed and fertilizer. Agronomist. He helps farmers figure out how to grow certain things or advises them.
Spell agronomist. Can you do that? I have it right here.
I'm sure. I don't want to mess up and then embarrass myself.
All right. Were you a good student?
I was. I feel like I was in the top 10% of my class. I got all A's and
How
stuff.
many people were in Wayne, though, in Wayne High School?
That's true. I only had
Out of
72
Is that
people
true?
in my class.
But still, top 10%, I wouldn't have been.
Were you a good student?
Oh, no. No, I was. I had issues. I had attention deficit disorder. Did you see that flying all over there? That's so cool. No, I did. I don't think anybody diagnosed me then. They just thought I was the asshole kid. Hey,
Yeah.
Rosenbaum's huffing gas in the garage. I was just kind of a weird kid, and I thought I like to say I was ahead of my time.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just, I don't know. People just
You
didn't
weren't.
understand
Where were
me.
you from?
I grew
did
up
you say
I was-
Indiana?
I was born in New York, but I grew up in a small town in Newburgh, Indiana.
Okay.
Were you
You just wanted to get out. You wanted to get out of there. And
you know,
maybe you
yeah.
didn't belong. No, I don't know.
I just wanted to figure it out. I wanted
Yeah.
to figure out, look, what am I doing?
Yeah.
What could I do? And you know, I think a lot. I thought I was the only person who thought this, and many people out there, maybe you guys are thinking this. Did you ever think, like in high school, you're like, I don't see myself like getting through, like going to college, getting through high. I felt like one of those kids who was like, I don't see myself living that long. It was like a dark, weird thing.
Oh.
Like not like I was suicidal, really, but I just felt like I don't know if I don't see myself as an adult. And I was right. Look at me.
Yeah, no, I feel similar. I feel like I never knew, like I can remember graduation from high school and me still telling people I wasn't sure if I was going to go to any of the colleges that I had been accepted to, or I just felt very much like I wanted to get out of Nebraska and do acting. And I also, like, I guess in a similar way, like I never really thought past like wanting to do acting and wanting to do music. Like that's one thing that I deal with now is I'm like, oh, okay, well, there's so many other things to do with your life. Like just even the things of like, oh, I guess maybe I would like to maybe have a kid or like maybe get married someday.
Wait a minute.
All of these kinds of things.
You want to have a kid right now, or are you thinking
Not right
maybe,
now.
not this second?
Not right now, but I mean, I guess I never really thought past myself in like my 20s and just trying to like get to a point where I was like taking care of myself.
Sure.
I didn't think like past that. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Well, what were you like?
And-
like, yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, and just like trying, like the thing that anchored me was, okay, well, I want to do, honestly, it was, I want to do acting and music. How do I do that? Well, I can move to New York City. And then my friends became musicians and that was sort of my anchor,
But
sort
how
of
did you
how
do
I
that?
made decisions.
But how did you? I understand
You know?
that, but you're in Wayne, Nebraska,
Right.
Right. And how long were you living in Wayne?
From the time I was in, I think, 4th grade until I graduated high school.
Fourth
Third
grade.
or 4th grade.
Did they have plays and things?
They
had,
did, yeah.
There was
yeah.
only
And,
72 kids here
in my class.
in your class.
So in
maybe,
high school, there was like, I feel like there was 300 to 400 kids like in the whole high school.
Okay, that's about what I had.
But yeah, so everybody, yeah, there were plays and musicals, and I did some sports, but I also did like one acts, and then I also did
Do you remember your first audition? What it was for
first audition, like when I
in high school for a play?
I don't remember for the plays.
Or musicals?
Yeah, you know what I remember most is auditioning for swing choir.
What the hell's swing choir?
So it was like the select
Like you
choir.
guys all make out with different
like the
people?
really.
What the hell happens in swing choir?
I mean, we're in Nebraska. I don't think.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't be allowed there.
I auditioned for swing choir, and I remember that one because, like, usually it was seniors who got in. It was like the select choir.
What did you have
And-
to do to get in?
You had to like learn a song and sing by yourself. And
What song?
And I don't remember the song.
You don't remember? I remember everything about
You
high school
do?
because I was so miserable. I remember like the play and the audition. I remember the lines. You don't remember
Yeah.
what song it was. You don't remember what you said. You probably because you were singing so many songs at that time. You just chose one.
I sort of was. I mean, I before this I had done so my first like I did a lot of talent shows when I was little, like 7, 8 years old. I would go to like county fairs. My mom would drive me to
Come
county
on.
fairs, and I would go to the Lions Club Talent Contest. I remember the song I sang for all of that stuff. I sang My Favorite Things. That was when I
sang
was
that
7.
originally?
It's from The Sound of Music.
How does it go? I'm not singing for you.
I said that.
How does it go? I'll sing it.
Raindrops on roses and whiskers on kittens, bright color and warmth on the mittens.
You have perfect pitch. Is that what they say? Have you been told that?
I have been told that.
Yeah, I don't.
You're a good singer, though.
No, I love to sing.
You're a very good singer.
Sometimes people say, hey, you could sing. And sometimes people say, hey, you can't. But when you sing, you could always sing because you're trained and you just have that. I don't know when I'm off a little bit. Be like, ooh. I get that. Ooh.
You have your guitar. You make sure you're in the right key and everything.
I
Yeah.
try. I do
You're very good
I do
singer.
love music. So back in high school, you're doing all these like little shows, like in like were your parents sort of like going, "I want you to do this," or you just loved it so much that they had no choice?
It was sort of from.
Be honest here.
I mean, I think that they liked it. I mean, I definitely like my mom. I can remember my mom being like, at family gatherings, like, Emily's going to sing us a song now, like everyone gather around. Like it was definitely a thing. Like I wouldn't say they discouraged it at all.
Did she critique
but I don't
after
know
it?
if,
like, Emily, that was terrible. No, she was a good mother.
My parents never critiqued me. My dad, I remember, used to leave and I'd be like, Dad, why? Like if I had a talent contest, I remember him just disappearing and he'd be like, because whenever I would practice at home, he would look at me and I'd start laughing. And he was like, I was nervous you were going to look at me and start laughing.
I thought you were going to say he left the room and just started crying. Oh my God, she's so talented.
No, he was afraid he was going to make me laugh. So he would like leave the room. Yeah. Yeah.
So they sounded like proud parents who just allowed you to do what you wanted and supported you, but didn't push you.
They definitely, I mean, I don't think they necessarily, I mean, to be honest, were excited about me wanting to like leave Nebraska and go to New York City or go to LA. But it was something from the time I was maybe even 4 or 5. It was like, I like to sing. I'm going to be a singer. I would sit in front of the record player and listen to the Carpenters.
What's your favorite Carpenter song?
Well, the song that I loved when I was little to sing was that Sing a Song. Sing it loud. Yeah.
Sing it strong.
Don't worry. Don't matter if you're not good enough.
I like
for anyone else to hear.
Oh, so those songs touched you as a child.
Yeah, I would just literally sit in front of them, learn them. I would tape, like I remember the DuckTales theme, like taping it so that then I could learn it. Like I was really obsessed with learning a song, like memorizing the song. And this was even before I could like really read or anything. So, yeah.
Are you really good at like hearing a song and then learning the lyrics pretty quickly?
I think so. It depends.
And your lines, if it's written well, it's sort of like,
Yeah, I feel that it's funny. I feel like it takes me a minute to learn things, but once I have it, I really do know it it's like really in there for a really long time. Like I feel like lines, I know other actors who seem to just be like, oh yeah, I'll just learn this, and they just seem to like pick it up so quickly. I do feel like it has to like sink in.
I have to really work at it.
I have to like, I mean, I'll set aside time to just like say the lines over and over again to a wall and like do it. Like, I mean.
Do you ever have your friends FaceTime with you and do lines?
I have done that. I have a really great friend, Haley, who for whatever reason just will do lines with me anytime.
Not cocaine. We're talking about scripts. We're talking about auditions, folks.
Yeah.
Don't go there with Emily Kinney.
So I have a couple good friends who seem to not mind running lines with me, which is really awesome of them because I feel like it must be boring.
It's really boring. And my friend Tom does it sometimes. And he's so bad.
Oh,
that
really?
He'll start doing a character.
Oh,
and he's
yeah?
not an actor. I'll go, I mean, I don't know if the line was like, what do you want me to do? He'll go, what do you want me to do? I go, why are you acting like a dumbass? He goes like, I'm reading the fucking lines here. I'm like, well, just read them. He's like, okay, what do you want me to do? And he just does these, like he's going to be found. Like all of a sudden someone's going to walk through the front door and go, oh, that guy's a good actor. It's like really this weird thing. He makes fun of the whole thing. But so, all right, so good childhood. You're a smart kid. You're proud. So far, you're the opposite of me. That's what I've realized that.
I don't know.
Well, it was just I had a dysfunctional family. You don't, which is great because I love to hear that because it's nice to hear. And I think that's one of the things that concerns you for this podcast. You're like, I actually had a good family.
Right. So I mean, there was definitely stuff like I'm not trying, but like my parents were 19 and 20 when they got married. So I feel like, there was definitely a lot of stuff to figure out. But generally speaking, I mean, I think now I have a really good relationship with my parents just because when I moved to New York, I definitely like separated myself and I wasn't as close to them for a minute. And then when we reconnected, I feel like now I see them more as just like people rather than like what I'm trying to say is when I was little, I feel like I like got mad at them and judged them a lot more. And now I'm
what did
like,
you judge them on?
I mean, just whether or not they were like good parents or this or that. I mean, now I look back though.
Who was the disciplinarian? I mean, you weren't spanked.
No, I mean, I feel like we were threatened. My dad had a really bad temper.
Yeah, my dad had a temper too.
But I also now, and when I was younger, that like not only scared me, but I was like, oh, dad, like he's just like, I really judged him for it. And now I think back and I'm like, man, he was like in his 20s with 3 daughters.
Same thing with my dad.
And I think of
3
like
kids, yeah.
my guy friends now who I'm in bands with and they're like in their 30s. And I'm like, oh my God, my dad was like this dude with like all this responsibility.
How'd he do it?
My friends, like I mean, I love my friends, but I can't imagine them with like 3 daughters and like how they would respond. And of course they would have a temper and, you know, so I think of like, wow, I look at them differently now.
Were they drinkers or any, you know, sort of, were you a drinker in high school? Did you party? Did you get in trouble?
I honestly was so good in high school. I feel like my freshman, sophomore year, I sort of got into
Pot, cocaine,
no,
heroin. None of those.
You're really looking for something.
No,
I'm
I'm just curious if in Wayne, Nebraska, there's, you know, people powder their noses.
I mean, there are people who smoke a little weed, I
Sure,
think.
sure.
But I feel like that was even like, oh, we got some weed from the college, from Wayne State College kids or something. It
Wayne
wasn't anything
State.
that bad.
Right.
Yeah. But people drank, but I didn't drink. And there was a shift that happened like freshman, sophomore year, where I just started, like, I feel like freshman, sophomore year, I would like, got to do like all the prom server things. And like, I was like really in this certain crowd. And then I was just like, I got to get the fuck out of here. And I didn't drink because I feel like I associated people getting like drunk in like cornfields. And then I'd like see all the parents at like the count. I mean, now I feel like Wayne was a great place to live and all the people there are very kind.
As Indiana.
But you know, I would sort of have these moments of like, if I'm never leaving. It's all like, it's the same. Look, they all then go to the Wayne County Fair and I'll get drunk and hanging out in the cornfields drinking beer. And not that there's anything wrong with drinking beer.
But
like
you just
I love
don't want
having
to do
a drink.
that your whole life.
But I was like, fuck, I feel like I'll get stuck if I
Right.
get so.
Children of the Corn of Wayne, Nebraska.
I felt like drinking, and that was like I said, there was this thing of like, I want to do this, that sort of started to guide all of my decisions.
Sure.
You know?
Well, what was it that you said, not only do you feel it inside, you felt like other people thought, this girl's talented. This girl can sing. She can act.
Right.
She could, like, when was that the moment you said that? Because that's probably the moment you wanted to go to New York, right?
I don't know if there was like a moment. It was just sort of like,
That's what I'm going to do?
like since I was little, it was like, and then I would like listen to people on the radio and I'd be like, yep, want to be a singer. I mean, I would tell that, I was like, that's, you know, what I'm going to do. Like career day, it was like, what job do you want? Well, I'm going to be a singer. That's all it was.
Weren't your parents like, sweetheart, no one is successful at that. You're a 1 in a million. You're a lottery ticket. Stop it. Did you ever get that conversation from people?
I can remember, I didn't get the part I wanted in this play. And I remember one time my dad saying, well, you know, and so then I quit because I didn't get the part I wanted because I don't know, I was being kind of a brat. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna work and save money. I'm gonna work at this coffee shop, and I'm not gonna be in the play this semester or whatever. And I remember my dad being like, well, you know, I think it's okay to start like focusing on other things or whatever. And I was like,
hey, you did real good in chemistry.
yeah, this was when I was at I had started going to school at Wesleyan, and then I was like, oh no, I'm not going to be in this play because I didn't get the part I want, and I'm going to work at this coffee shop and save money for my move to New York City. You know?
And he shit his pants.
Like, no, I mean, they ever since I was little, I was like telling my parents I was going to do this. I think they would have been just as proud if I would have been like, oh, I'm going to be a music teacher and be in the community theater plays and be in the, you know, and I would also be in some ways happy doing that. Like, I just love acting and music. And I think even if it hadn't turned out into this amazing career, I would just, like, let's say something had happened. Let's say I'd like fallen in love with the love of my life and he lived in Iowa or whatever. I feel like I still would have gone into that community and then been like, oh, where's the theater? Where are people playing music? Like, that's just that's the guiding thing of how I'm going to spend my time. So yeah, I think they would have been honestly probably just as happy, if not in some ways more comfortable, if I had stayed in Nebraska and just been like, you know, in every Omaha theater
Right.
thing or
Ladies and gentlemen, our little old lady of Wayne. Here's Emily Kinney.
No, I really think they and been
They would've been
song
happy
leader
with
at
it with any-
church.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
Sure.
I think they would be just as proud because I think that in these smaller towns, there's not that it's almost like its own world in a certain way. Like in a way, I
There's
feel
no
like New York and
expectations.
LA were like these different, almost like different countries. I feel
Sure.
like it was you could be like a star in your own little world of Nebraska. Do you know what I'm
If
saying?
you asked anybody from Wayne, Nebraska, who knew you, and
Yeah.
they said, "Are you shocked that Emily Kinney has made it?" How many people, or did you just?
I didn't really think about like what other people thought.
That's a good thing, Emily. That's a good thing.
I mean, I think I don't know if people thought I was really going to do it or not, but I never really said I was going to do anything else. So
if you ask people honestly, with
Yeah.
gun to their head, do you think Michael Rosenbaum will become an actor or do anything with his life?
what would they have said?
Who?
No.
Michael who? And those who knew me would probably go, he's just kind of weird. I don't think so. I didn't even think it either. I was going to work at Wesselman's Grocery or work at Sunoco pumping
Really?
gas. I worked
What
at
made
go-kart
you-
track. Anyway, this is inside of Emily Kinney, by the way.
Oh,
Not
sorry.
inside.
I know. I keep
You could
asking, turning it around on you.
You could get
I don't.
inside of me.
No.
But you're going to have to be
Just for a
gentle.
second.
You're going to have to ease up here, Emily.
Just-
I was taking drama classes because I was kind of a clown.
Yeah.
And then I told this story already. Anyway, I ended up auditioning for a play because I had to take advanced drama, and I got it. And people started noticing me and going, "Oh, you're actually kind of funny."
Yeah.
And so that gave me enough confidence in college to finally audition for a play. And then from there, people started, it was, again, I've talked about this, but me not being me. So if I
Yeah.
was someone else, I was secure. I was comfortable. But
Right.
if you asked anybody I grew up with, they would have been like, no. I have a feeling with you, they go, oh, yeah, she was a good singer. She acted in all the plays. I could see it. It makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what other people thought about it. I mean,
And
I
you
don't
don't
think
care.
that other people, I don't think that other people saw those things. I do think that other people didn't see those things as options. Like the idea of someone being like, I'm going to move to New York City. The idea though, instead of like going to UNL and I'm going to be in the theater program at like UNL or UNL, like that seemed very, or I remember people talking about like Branson, Missouri is like that you can get jobs as an actor there, or going to like Minneapolis and like they had a good theater scene. So I remember certain things being sort of like, oh, that's like in reach,
Right.
And so I didn't actually even really know anyone who had moved to New York City.
Who drove you to New York? Did you take a Greyhound?
I took a plane. But my mom took.
That's probably the easiest,
That
right?
was, yeah, I didn't.
I just- I always
sorry
want-
to like. I feel like I'm ruining your image of
I am
like
trying.
me showing up on the bus with like my suitcase and
Yeah.
I'm like just.
I thought maybe
Sorry.
she took a Greyhound. Her
No.
dad drove her. There was this emotional moment. No, I took a
No,
freaking
I-
plane. I got on a plane. It was
Well,
only
first I actually went to NYU first for a semester. I got into this program where I didn't have to. It was almost like an exchange sort of thing. Well, I studied with their sophomores. In a studio. So I studied at Playwrights Horizons for a semester.
I auditioned for a play there.
You did?
Yeah.
You didn't, did you get in?
No.
No, sorry.
Continue.
So I get in, I leave Nebraska, go to that. And then towards the end of the semester, I'm like panicking because I didn't have enough money to actually go to NYU. Because the idea was, I think they were trying to get people to like transfer so that the people that leave after their freshman year, it's like filling in that class, those people or whatever.
Right.
And so I was like, fuck, well, I'm not going to like be able to keep going to NYU because I don't have any money and then, or didn't want those kinds of loans. And then, so I started auditioning for plays whenever I had free time. And I ended up getting an equity play that rehearsed in the city. And my friend Kelly said I could move in to her apartment with her. It was a studio apartment.
Not Kaylee. Your
No,
friend Kelly.
not Haley.
Not
This
the
girl,
line
Kelly.
reader, Kelly.
Not Haley. Haley is
Haley,
my
yes. Line
my
reader.
band, good friend here in LA.
Right.
Kelly is someone I met in the laundry room at NYU.
Creepy.
Anyway, she somehow we became friends, and then I had said, I got this play, I don't know where I'm gonna live, and she's like, live in my studio. And I was like, sure. It was like the cheapest option for me. So, and then I didn't realize she had also told her girlfriend Ashley that had gotten an intern that she could also stay there. So it was three girls
no.
in a studio apartment in Midtown East.
And girls are fucking
And
messy. They're messier than boys.
We
You get a bad rap, but you
No,
girls
no,
are
no.
messy.
we put up shelves for all of our clothes, and then we had a futon and a bed, so we would alternate like who got like their own bed at night. So
every
that's
night
how
you're
it was. Yeah, we
deciding
had
who sleeps in the bed, who sleeps in the.
yeah.
Wow.
Or it was based on like who was actually
How much
there
was
that
rent?
night.
Do you remember how much rent was
I
for
think
you?
I paid her like $400 or something.
And where'd you work?
I worked at a few different places, but I was getting paid for that play. So it was an equity play, and it was like my first kind of like real theater gig. We rehearsed in the city at Wings Theater, and then we took the train out. Once we started doing previews in the play, we took the train out every night to New Canaan, Connecticut. It was like a big outdoor theater, and the owner of this theater company would have these like huge parties at their like awesome house, and we'd all get drunk and stay overnight.
So you were getting drunk at this point. You left
Yeah,
Wayne,
I
and now
mean-
you started. You changed, Emily.
Yeah, I started. I mean, just when I got to New York, pretty much.
Right. So you're drinking. You're making money. You're
I'm
living in a studio with 3 girls. I mean,
This is really fun.
okay.
But so I did make some money doing that, and then I would work like a couple days. Like, I think I mentioned this to you the other day that I like worked at Red Lobster in Times Square for like a few shifts, and then like I remember
I
one
couldn't
day.
work there. Go ahead.
One day after theater rehearsal, someone was like, "Hey, we're all going to Union Square to like get ice cream and hang out in the park." And I was like, "Oh, I'm supposed to go hostess at Red Lobster," and then I was like, "I'm not gonna go."
So you just quit?
I just never showed
Yeah, you
up.
did 3 shifts or something?
I did more than that.
Ew.
But I just never showed up again. No one called me. No one noticed I was gone because this place is huge and there were so many people working there. And then
Giant
finally,
Red Lobster.
yeah, giant
Where was this?
Red Lobster in Times Square.
I couldn't work
There
there.
were like
I'm allergic
different-
to crustaceans.
Oh no,
Yeah, no lobster for me. It wouldn't be a good thing.
that wouldn't be good to work there.
But so you just get so and it sounds like now you moved to New York. You're getting a little rebellious. It's like I mean, just a little.
yeah,
You're drinking now. You're quitting Red Lobster. I mean, this is anarchy, Emily.
Yeah, that's when I got really wild.
You just started.
Yeah, I think I was like 20,
You were
19 or
20.
20. Yeah, it wasn't legal to drink. So
Oh.
I remember I had started dating this guy that summer, and
What was his
we
name?
had to.
Skip, Barney.
Should we skip that one? Anyway,
Sure.
he knows who he is. Yeah, he knows who he I had started dating this guy, and I remember it was always a thing of like, well, we got to go to a bar where they're not going to card you because he was older than me.
Right. How much older?
Not that much. I think he was like 25 or 26, and I was like 20. I think he was like 4 or 5 years older than me.
He wasn't your first, was he?
First what? He was my first kiss. No, he wasn't my first boyfriend.
First thing.
He was my
First
second.
F. Oh, all right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I didn't F till I was 18. Yeah, I remember. She backed up on the couch. She doesn't want to talk about this. She doesn't want to talk about. She doesn't want to
Thanks
talk
for
about it.
letting me know. I mean,
She doesn't want to talk about the first F. You know, Henry Winkler was talking. I had Henry Winkler with the Fonz on, and he was talking about his F's. I didn't ask who the F was.
It was great. I was in love.
The F was great?
The first one.
Oh, the first. Oh, okay.
I was anyway, I don't even remember what we were talking about.
Hey, are these
anymore.
cameras on still, Rob?
Oh,
Yeah,
you
they're
know
on.
what I remember though?
Go ahead.
So when I first started drinking, I never knew what to drink. When I was with this guy, I remember he would take me to this place called Sweet Ups. And
Jesus.
it was in Brooklyn. I loved that place actually. It was great. They had like this really weird like velvety wallpaper. That was anyway. I remember I didn't know what to drink, and he would be like, "You should get a gin bramble. It's really good."
What's in a gin
And then I didn't
bramble?
know. I don't know. It's like
Gin,
gin and club soda
bramble.
and bramble.
Little bramble in there. Yeah, just easy on the bramble, please.
But so then, like, I never knew what to order, so I would just like for like all summer, all I would drink were like gin brambles. Like that was the only. I was like, oh, that's what I want because I didn't know what to order.
Sounds
you know what I mean?
fancy.
Or I would order like beer or something. Yeah.
All right, so you're doing this play, you live in a studio, you're starting to date a guy, you quit Red Lobster, you're drinking a little, you're getting more seasoned, you're getting some, you're getting more
Going
confidence.
to rooftop parties in Brooklyn.
So then you do this play. How did you get Spring Awakenings?
Oh, there was a lot of time between that actually. So after the play closed,
Did you get good reviews? People liked you?
I think that people liked me. The show was, I remember, like sold out all the time.
Did your
and
parents
stuff.
come? Were they proud of you?
They didn't come to that play.
Mm.
They didn't go to a lot because I don't think they love New York City. It's not really like comfortable. I mean, I think they like it more and more, but it's not their favorite.
Right.
But so the play ends, but I had quit my Red Lobster job and any other job I had, and I was really broke. And I really didn't know what to do.
So you moved in with 4
and I had
girls in
started
the
like
studio.
charging like Jamba Juice on my credit card. Like I had started charging small purchases on my credit card.
Sure.
Like walking, and I didn't know how long I was going to be able to stay in the studio with 2 other girls and all of this. So then I actually moved back to Nebraska for about a year or so, maybe less than a year. And I like just saved money, and I worked at a coffee shop.
Were you miserable? Were you miserable because you want to be back in New York and you were just there?
I did, but I also enjoyed. It's that thing of like now I was like I'm gonna go back, and I sort of like enjoyed the time. I was in a play and stuff, and I started working all the time. I worked at a coffee shop at a coffee cart at the hospital, so I would get up really early, like 5 a.m., go to this coffee cart. Then I would also work at this other place called Mojava. And I just...
This is in Nebraska.
This is in Lincoln, Nebraska.
Right.
And I saved my money.
How much
and
money did you save?
This is what's funny. I went to New York with like $1,000. And I
you
was
worked
like...
a whole year.
I didn't work a whole year, but like I also had to pay off like my credit card, and I remember it was around $1,000.
Jamba Juice.
Maybe I had like $1,500, but I feel like it was around $1,000 because then when I moved back to New York, I remember going to Washington Mutual with like my cash and my checks and like opening an account and being like, okay, I have to find an apartment. I have to find a job immediately. So like 2 days later,
Red Lobster.
I didn't go back to it. I realized I didn't mind coffee shops, so I found a coffee shop job, and then a few blocks away, I found this really sketch apartment, but again with this girl Kelly, and it was $1,600 a month, so my half was $800. Perfect, and we didn't have to put down a deposit or anything. I mean, because it was like a really shitty building, and the owner was a little
creepy.
A little creepy.
Yeah.
He was like, "Yay, 2 girls." I don't know what he
Oof.
thought. I know it was creepy, but
Dateline.
I was like, I thought I was like, perfect, $800. Now I'm going to start working at the place so I can make my rent for the next month. You know.
So now you're auditioning for things. Things are starting to.
Yeah.
Do you have an agent?
I don't have an agent at this point.
So you're just going on cattle calls?
I would go to
backstage?
backstage and go to theater auditions, and then eventually like casting directors started bringing me in for TV stuff, and then eventually I got like a commercial agent who then recommended me for the TV department.
What was
blah,
your
blah,
first
blah, blah.
commercial?
I didn't really end up doing that many commercials. What did I do? I did these promos for Comedy Central, I remember. Like they had some Halloween special.
How much
And
you
you know
get
what's
paid?
funny? It was with zombies. I was a girl who hung out with zombies, and it was like, stay tuned to Comedy Central's like whatever, what is that? Shaun of the Dead, like marathon, something, or...
And you're like 23?
I was like, 22 by now.
And you had no idea that just a few years
I
later.
know.
It's crazy. Okay, so
Okay.
get me there.
Oh, you
Get me there.
wanted to know about Spring Awakening?
Yeah, I want to hear about that because that was a huge hit.
Yeah, it was, and I had seen it at Christmas, and so I auditioned for it many times. I think it ended up being like 7 auditions total. When you start with the very first audition, like the first audition I got was to be like a vacation replacement, and at the time I was in another show at Signature Theater, like an off-Broadway show, and then it was just over the course of months. Then they would bring me in for for the whole creative team. Then it was like, oh, can you learn a song? And then come in again. And then they did like this big group movement call because they were also trying to cast the national tour at the time, plus replace people in the Broadway cast. And then finally, I got an offer to play Anna in the Broadway cast. And so I replaced Phoebe Stroll and like.
And how long
I was
did
in
you do it for?
I think 8 months.
Do you like doing plays?
I
Do you
love
miss
it.
it? Will you do it? Because I hear you talking about it still. You still have that light in your eye. That's sort of when you hear there's a play, you're...
Yeah.
Now, to me, it's more work than anything because you're doing like 8 shows a week. And that sounds like I used to do plays. I did like 20, 25. And I go, oh, I'm an actor. I'm in the theater. And then all of a sudden I was like, man,
Yeah.
I don't know if I could just physically do it like every night. And it's a lot.
Yeah. I feel like if it's a show you really love, I guess that would be my requirement now is I feel like it has to be something that I feel passionate about that I would want to give.
Would you do
basically Wicked? Ooh, I do love Wicked.
Could you do
I've
Wicked?
seen it like
Do you have a
5.
voice for Wicked?
I feel like I could do
Could
Wicked,
you do that?
maybe.
Galinda?
Oh, I love Galinda.
Galinda.
Galinda. With
Yeah.
a G. That's what
G.
she says
G.
in the...
With a G. I love
I
that
don't know,
musical.
though. I mean, I don't know if I would do Wicked, but I would do... I would do a play if it was the right time and the right story and the right character and everything like that. I would totally do it. But it is exhausting, and even more so than the 8 shows a week, there's like as I'm getting older, you go like, oh, time really is passing by. Oh, maybe I don't want to miss like my friend's wedding and
Tell me
like
about it.
the first 5-10 years of my acting career, it's been like, oh, congratulations on your baby. No, I won't be back to see it.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm missing my best friend from high school's wedding. Oh my God, I'm so sorry.
I
but
get really
I'm
sad
not gonna,
about that. That's
I'll
happened
get
a lot.
super bummed where I go
Yeah.
like, life is passing by and like with TV, even though it's still unpredictable, when you're going to get gigs and all of this, there is somewhat of like, usually you have like some weekends off.
It's flexible.
You have, they're not going to shoot on Christmas probably, you can figure out ways to like see your family and see your friends. If you're doing 8 shows a week,
You can't.
you're doing a show on Christmas, you're doing a show on holidays because that's when people go to see theater and travel and like.
I've missed so many weddings. I've missed so many things, and people just don't
Yeah.
understand it. You miss this, and I get sad. I'm actually going to go to my sister's 4th wedding, though. I promised I'd go to her 4th.
Fourth wedding?
Back when she got married the first time, I said, I promise I'll go to the 4th.
Wait, you didn't go to your sister's wedding?
No, the first time she eloped. The second
Oh, okay.
time, I think she just went to the courthouse. The
Got
third
it.
time, yeah, I don't know. But it's her 4th marriage. I feel like this might be
When is
this
it?
might be the one. It's in September or August or something. So I think I'm gonna go.
Do you like him?
He seems like a really nice guy.
Oh, good.
Yeah, he deals with my sister.
And they live in Indiana.
They live in Indiana. Yeah, she's
Is she older or younger than you?
she's older. She's my half sister. My mom had 2 kids before.
Oh,
She met
okay.
my dad. My dad married her when he was 18, and she was 23 with 2 kids, and then had me a year later.
Okay.
They did a lot of drugs together, and now you look at me and you're like, I get it. I fucking get it. I look at you and I'm like, her parents didn't do any drugs. Look how
No.
sweet she turned out. Okay, so you're doing plays, you're doing all this, and you start doing. I guess you start doing TV appearances because Walking Dead
Yeah.
wasn't the big one. I mean, it was the big one, but it wasn't
like my first ever gig, right?
Right. What was the first
I started.
one?
I feel like one of my first TV things was like Law and Order. Oh, I know, Law and Order, Criminal Intent. And Mo Rocca. Do you know that comedian?
No.
And he also he's on this. I love this really silly news program. Well, it's not really silly. I love like the CBS Sunday morning. It's almost like it's like news. They have like a moment of nature at the end, and they'll like. I don't know. It's just like a very calmer news program to watch.
Sounds boring to me.
It's awesome. Anyway, I
No, I'm
think he's
kidding.
on
No,
it
sounds
now. They'll do like really in-depth interviews, and actually you should watch it. You might like it.
All right. I'll
Yeah,
check
they
it
usually
out.
have like really good music performances.
Right.
Anyway,
So the show.
Anyway, so I played.
Criminal Intent.
Yeah. Anyway, so I played a girl who was. I remember my name was Jeannie because I've played a lot of Jeans. And her brother gets murdered, and so the rest of the show is like they interview me a lot, trying to figure out like what happened to him.
Was it your first TV sort of experience? Like as
It was
in a
one of
TV
my
show,
first-
and the biggest role for a TV show.
Yeah, because I was like one of the I was of how like in Criminal Intent it usually or like in Law and Order there's usually like one kind of main person who
Was
this
it
crime
D'Onofrio?
happened to.
Was it
or-
D'Onofrio who's in that? Vincent D'Onofrio, was he in Criminal Intent?
No,
There's so
I
many
had
Law and Orders.
I had Mr. Big was in the one that I was in. He was interviewing me a lot.
Mr. Big?
Yeah, Sex and the City, Mr. Big.
Oh, I thought Mr. Big was that band from the 90s. Hold on, little girl, show them what they've done to you. You know that song?
Yes, I do know that
I'm the one
song.
who wants to be with you. Yeah, you know
Live
that. Inside of you. That's
deep
my show.
inside.
It's my podcast right now. Emily Kinney. Okay, so
Anyway, that was the first, and then I started doing like lots of little guest stars. Like I was on the Big C, and I had like a recurring part on that, and then I went on a big national tour with August Osage County.
oh yeah,
And I
that was
played,
a big one.
I loved that character. I had actually, that was one of those where I read it when it was in Chicago and it was at Steppenwolf and they said they were going to bring it to Broadway. And I was like, this has to, it didn't end up being my Broadway debut. Spring Awakening did. But when I read it, I was like, I have to be this part. I know this girl.
And you got it in the first try?
I didn't get it on the first try, actually.
How many?
I got offered, I got it on the second try. because the first try. So
Oh,
I don't know if I want to get into what happened.
Folks, you're in for a treat. I know this story.
No. What's the story? You don't know this. No. So.
It's not the story
you know
of
what?
you.
No, this is what.
The passing.
Oh no, yeah, that's a good story.
Well, yeah, I want to.
Do you want to get that? Okay. This is just so I auditioned for the Broadway one. They didn't pick me. They ended up going with, at this point, I had like not been on. I wasn't like a big name or anything. I mean, not that I am now, but like I wasn't like this big. I like basically they said like, oh, we loved Emily. We decided to go with this other girl who was on a TV show.
And you quit, went back to Nebraska.
No, and then I was like, fuck this, and then I left. No, then they said, so they went with this other girl, but they'd love for you to be the understudy. And my agent said this to me, and I'll never forget it because I love her. She was like, you should not be an understudy. You are a star.
What? And you went.
It stuck with me. Well, at first I was like, well, right now I'm working at a coffee shop and I got to make some money. So maybe being an understudy on a Broadway show would be incredible. Like there was a part of me that's like the actor mentality of like, oh, you just want to take you anything at this point, right? Because I was still like, I'd gotten gigs and I was doing well, but it wasn't like I was like, I was still like once, I don't know if I was
When
working
you
on a
heard
coffee
your
shop.
agent say that, you believed it.
Well, I said,
I think you have to.
I remember being like, because I had been getting like a lot of callbacks and I'd been getting like close and a lot of stuff. And I was like, you know what? Okay, you're right. I'm not going to take this. But it stuck with me. She's still my agent, Rachel. I just love her.
Emily, my
She's
agent.
my favorite person. Or not my favorite person, but one of my favorite people.
My agent once said, Michael, you're the next Will Ferrell. And I fired him right then. I fired him. I said, that's just ridiculous. That's absolutely ridiculous. You're a liar. That could never happen.
You're the next you.
Yes, that's what my grandpa always said. Why do you got to be the next
have to be-
whoever?
yeah.
There's already that guy. Why can't you be this guy? I'm just trying to figure out that guy.
But anyway.
Okay, so
it stuck with me and it was very nice of her to say. And I was like, you know what? I really want a job, but I feel like you've got good instincts. And then it came around again and then I got offered the part.
Wow.
So
Aren't you glad you weren't the understudy? Go in
I
there
am.
every
Not that
night
there's
and not
anything
doing
wrong with being there's
No.
obviously nothing. It's a great gig and like. But
I think it's harder than actually the part because you
yeah,
never get
because then
to
you
go
never know
on.
for sure, and you have to always be prepared, and like you don't. Yeah, you know the part in and out, but like yet you never get to perform it each time, and you have to be. And a lot of times they understudy a couple parts. This one wouldn't have been, but like a lot of the swings that were in Spring Awakening and stuff, they had to know a bunch of parts. Just like it's so much work, and I'm not. But at the time, I was like, I should hold out for something else, maybe.
All right.
Anyway,
Let's get to the big one.
okay. Wait, you wanted to know
SVU.
SVU.
Special Victims Unit, Law and Order.
I mean, that was a good one.
I'm kidding.
I enjoyed
but that's
myself
not
on
the
that.
big
Okay.
one. The Good Wife. These were all before. They were actually after, weren't they?
Actually, Good Wife was
After.
before.
It was before.
It was before. Walking Dead
Masters of Sex.
was after.
That was after.
The Knick was after.
By the way, Rob's a pervert because I hadn't seen it, and he said you were nude in it.
I get very naked.
I didn't know that.
My parents were not happy.
Did they see it?
My mom was pretty mad.
I've never been naked. I mean, I'm naked every day. I get naked
You've
in front
never
of all-
been naked.
No, my friends, I get naked in front of my
You've never been
I-
naked on television.
I took a shower, but it was like a rather opaque
Okay.
or translucent.
Got it.
That's the middle one, right? Curtain, so you couldn't see my genitalia.
Okay.
There's probably something where you could see, definitely my ass.
Do you feel like
on
you-
this show in Pastor, I showed my ass a lot. I love showing
Okay.
my ass.
Yeah,
but I don't
you
want to
love
show
it.
my balls and beans.
Okay.
The hell was that? Did you hear that? It's like a vibration. All right, so so Masters of Sex. So you did that. By the way, weren't you nervous? Like, or were you like, fuck yeah, I'll get naked?
You know what? I wasn't so nervous about. I really liked the part when I read it. Like I did have to get naked, but I also had like really great like speeches and really great scenes and really great, like I loved the characters. So I was just sort of like, sure, I'll do it, whatever. Like I was just like, I want to do the part. Sure, I'll show my boobs. I don't care, whatever.
Emily,
You know
I want to say something to you right now. For the
guess
first
I'm
time in
just-
this interview, I'm actually looking at you going, you're an artist. You're like, fuck. You love the material so much that you're like, I want to do this part. And I don't care
Yeah.
because that's most actresses will say no nudity, no tits, no whatever, stunt double,
I mean, if
whatever,
I was
body
playing
double.
something, if I thought it was a stupid part and they were just showing boobs to show boobs, that would be different. Then I'd be like, I don't want to do that. But it was like a really good part on a show that I loved. And I was like, I don't care. And I'd seen the show before and everything's like very tasteful and like real and like.
How much nudity were you? How much?
I mean,
that was a
you haven't
worst
looked
sentence.
at. I mean, you can
I
check
swear
it out.
on my life I have not, and I'm not going
It's
to.
okay. Yeah, you don't.
Now I
need
feel
to.
like a pervert. Now that
No,
I feel
I
like
mean,
I'm
you
inside
I
of you,
show, like-
I don't want to do that. Well, no, it's a show inside of you, Michael Rosenbaum. But I don't want to do that because I feel it's inappropriate.
Okay.
So I don't want to watch a show that maybe you could just email me the scenes you weren't naked in, and I'll watch your
Okay.
wonderful speeches. No, but seriously. So you were on set. Do you remember being like naked the first day or going on set and you're doing
Yeah.
the scene and you're like, well, closed set. It's always a closed set. Have some respect for the actors.
Yeah, you know what? Because it is Masters of Sex, and they've had these scenes before, so they had like basically a system for these scenes where there was more nudity, and like everyone was very respectful, and everyone was as soon as they called cut, someone came over with a robe and all of this, and but
Do they make you look better? Do they make you?
they did say they were like, if you want to get a spray tan, you can. Like basically,
Did you do it?
oh
Did
yeah,
you get a spray tan?
Yeah, I mean,
everybody
why
gets
not?
spray
I
tan. You don't
guess
wanna
if you feel, I
don't
mean,
know,
if it
some
makes
of
you
the-
feel like there's like somewhat of a like, I don't know.
If it gives you confidence. But some
Yeah,
people like the
confidence.
Julianne Moore milky white skin.
Yeah, I mean, but I just.
You don't
Yeah,
want to
if I was gonna be totally naked,
Yeah.
I mean, because I'm pretty much all naked, and I wanted.
all naked, like front and back?
I mean, you see in different scenes, you see different
My
things.
God, what is this show? Is it on Cinemax? What is this show? Should I have known about this show?
I can't believe you don't know about this.
I swear
show.
on my life, I think I might have heard of it,
It's
but
really good.
I didn't know there's so much nudity in it.
I mean, it's not.
Are guys nude too? Do you see ding-along and ding-a-lees?
You see guys nude. I don't know if you. I don't remember.
I don't think it's
if
fair.
you see.
I don't think if you're going to show your V squad, you got to show the D squad.
Right. No, I don't show my.
They do?
I don't show like my.
Rob, my producer, just
They
goes,
do-
yeah, they
they do.
show dong.
Oh yeah, I feel like they do. Yeah, there's like a point when I remember like a scene. Yeah, they do, but no, they just showed like my butt and like.
That's nothing. I mean, your butt's
My
not
boobs.
nothing. I mean, it's just not nothing.
Yeah,
it's nothing
okay,
to show a
thanks.
butt.
No, I
They showed your
understand.
boobs. But they didn't go like, okay. That's it.
Yeah, I mean there was some stuff off limits.
Next question. Let's
Yeah.
see here. All right, so you're doing all this stuff, but your big break, really, as we know thus far, as one of them is AMC's The Walking Dead. Now,
Yeah.
when I was younger, I'm not that much older than you, probably 12 years or so, but I remember AMC showed movies.
Right.
They just showed movies. And then Mad Men, they did this TV show, it became huge, and then pretty
Yeah.
much Walking Dead right after, and that sort of just,
Yeah.
the network exploded. So tell me about auditioning for that, how it came up, what your agent
Yeah.
called you, and what you were expecting. And you're like, I want to be honest. Did you want to do this zombie show? Were you
Yeah.
not interested at first?
No, I hadn't seen the show, but I remember what friend was it that I was talking to, and he was like, "Oh, I love The Walking Dead. That's going to be awesome." And I remember reading the scenes. They didn't give you like the full scripts, but like I just go if
How many? When
Like
did you come
it.
in? When did you come in?
I came in season 2, the beginning of season 2.
Okay.
So the first season was just 6 episodes, but I hadn't seen them yet. But I read the sides for this character, and they were actually originally I read sort of Maggie sides. I was auditioning for Beth, but they gave you kind of like dummy sides because they didn't want to reveal like
Right,
storylines,
right.
and I didn't realize there was this huge like comic book following. Like I really didn't. I knew of the comic books, but I wasn't like like I wasn't reading them myself necessarily. But I just remember being like, oh, these are great scenes. Like I judge a lot of stuff just by like the writing.
Was
And
your-
I thought
was your
that it was
agent
really
like-
well written. And I was like, oh yeah, of course I'll go in for this. This looks awesome. It's like a drama. Like the scenes weren't about zombies. We were talking about like
Life.
and survival. And one of the scenes, it was never in the show, but like one of the scenes I was with like my boyfriend and we were talking about like, oh, maybe we would like kill ourselves in this world and like all these like they were really cool scenes.
Yeah.
And I went in, auditioned, and then I had one other audition that was I guess like Skype with, and then like that Frank Darabont, and then found out I got the job like maybe a
How
few
was
days
Frank
later.
Darabont? How was Frank Darabont?
I didn't really. Well, oh, I've met. Yeah, he's great. I've always thought he was super nice. Yeah, but so then I flew out like a week later and started working on the show.
In Atlanta.
Yeah, and I didn't know at first it was a recurring role. So at first I wouldn't know really for sure when I was, and they tried to keep things
You
fairly
thought you
secret.
could die. You thought you might die.
Yeah, I kind of assumed that I would die. Like there would be like what they told me, they would never be like specific. It was always like, well, if you do, nothing was ever like, yeah, you're
Right.
going to have 5 episodes and it'll be this and this. It was like, well, it'll probably be around like 5 episodes. Like I thought it was supposed to be like a shorter arc. And then it just like kept going and it kept being like flown out like to like keep working.
So you were in episode 7, right? That was your first.
No, so there's episode 6 was the end of season
The
1.
Walking
and then
Dead fans are like,
season
you
2
idiot, no.
Season 2, episode 1, I wasn't in. And then at the end of the episode, I think it's the end of the episode, they come to a farmhouse and I'm in the farmhouse. So then I was in episode 2
Right.
of season 2.
Yeah.
And yeah.
I watched it for, I think for about 4 seasons or so.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. I have a
Yeah.
short attention span. So
Yeah.
with anything. And I think it's very hard for a show to continue like success and keep, everybody always wants, there's very few shows like that just are every episode like Breaking Bad or a Game of
Yeah.
Thrones. And you're talking about a zombie world. And it's
Yeah.
like you have to write episodes that are like engaging and, you scares and relationships and all this. So I always say, that's got to be the hardest thing to write these episodes. And it's probably just as hard to act in them. I mean, you're in the middle of nowhere. It's probably hot, and
Yeah.
what were they like? What was it like? Like, the first day you came on set, was everybody really welcoming?
Yes, totally. That was, I feel like I just really, got so lucky being on that show. When I first showed up to set, everyone was so nice. In particular, Steven, who plays Glenn on the show, I remember him just being like, because I got in on like a Thursday or Friday to do to do costuming and all this stuff, and so then I was gonna have to be there through the weekend, and we weren't filming or anything, so I was just hanging out in this hotel at the Wyndham in Peachtree City, and
Oh, now everyone knows where they're staying.
no, I don't think they stay
No,
there
I'm kidding.
anymore. Yeah,
Or
but
not.
or where that used to be though, like the place that we'd all be in, and I remember him being like, "What are you doing this weekend? Like, can I take you guys out to brunch? Can I?" Like, I remember him in particular being so welcoming, but everybody on set was really sweet, and Lauren, who played my sister, was coming out at the same time, and like immediately, like I just was like, "Oh, she's like we're gonna be great sisters, like we're gonna be great," and it was so it was kind of magical. It was awesome.
Andrew Lincoln, I saw him in the airport once, and we were off the plane. I go, "Hey, I love the show, man." He's like, "Oh, dude," and he was one of the nicest human beings. He walked out, and I walked, and there was all these photographers and
Yeah.
people coming, and they all fled to him.
Yeah.
And I'm not kidding, he sat there and signed while he was waiting at baggage claim. I watched this.
Wow.
I watched it from the other side, probably 50 autographs, and signed everyone and took pictures with and he was
Yeah.
tired. You could tell he was a little tired, and he did every last one. And I
That's
said,
incredible.
bravo, dude. Bravo.
Yeah.
I thought that was wonderful.
Yeah, he's so great, and he always gives 100%. Like, he's kind to the people around him. He works his ass off, and like always does his best. And since he's the lead of the show, it filtered down to everyone. Then everyone in the scene gave their all. Then everyone, like he just, the way that he is, and the way that some of those first cast on the show, like and Sarah Wayne Callies and Laurie Holden and all those actors, the way that they are spread to everyone else. And so I feel so lucky that I got to be there with them, because the work ethic and like the kind of focus that they had was really special, and it was fun. Like it's fun to be good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's fun. Like sometimes I feel like I'll be like, oh God, I'm no fun because I'm just sitting here like working on my, like trying to stay in my world, like be in my world with the lines or whatever. But what was cool about that show is like, yeah, of course sometimes there's jokes or this or that, but we also focused. And then when it was good, it was like, yeah, that take was fucking awesome. And like, it's fun to be good.
Sure. No, I know.
Like, and I think that there was that kind of understanding.
I
You
know
know,
what it's
'cause you're
like
great.
to be. I am
You're-
so great. I
No.
know what it's like to be good at.
I mean, it's not like we're all just sitting there like so whatever focused.
Right.
But some days it was like that. So if it was a serious scene, if it
Give
was
me dirt. I want dirt, Emily. I want to hear a story how Norman Reedus walked in and he was shit canned and he just said, "Fuck everyone." That didn't happen, did it?
that never happened.
He's just a nice guy. I met him. He was nice.
So nice. The sweetest.
Come on, dude, Michael
sweet.
Rooker, who I worked with in Guardians.
Oh my God, he's so sweet.
He's the most amazing, intense guy, hilarious. I mean,
Yeah.
sometimes he packs a gun. But
he also is one of those people who's like the endless amounts of energy. Like he'll be next to me at a convention and I'll feel like, oh God, they're gonna be so disappointed in me because he's like a show over there being like, hey you, da da da.
hey Emily, what are you doing over there?
Yeah, and I'm like, hi. And then I feel like people come up to me and I'm just like, hi. Like, I don't know, like I give them a hug or, whatever. And I'm like, I hope they're not disappointed that I don't have more of like a routine or something. Like
Did you ever have an argument on set? Did anybody ever yell? Did you ever see anybody? You don't have to say, was there ever a scene where it just got a little ugly? A director
I mean,
wasn't.
people would be passionate about like, no, I really think we should do things this way. But I wouldn't say there was a lot of respect on that set. So I feel like people get passionate on the set.
But you wouldn't call it anger.
But I wouldn't
Like
call
never-
it like someone being an asshole, or I wouldn't call it like someone being mean. Like there's no mean-spiritedness. Like everyone's very kind and respectful to the crew and to but maybe I've noted like there have been times when I've been like, oh, someone got worked up because they were like passionate about doing the scene a certain way.
Right.
And I think that's kind of cool.
How long were days on that set?
It really depended, but because a lot of times we had outdoor stuff, it could only be so long, But they would, it really depended on the episode.
Because, the zombie days, it's like, how long does it take these guys to get in the makeup?
Yeah. It takes them a long time. The days for the zombie guys, it's the worst.
Did you
because
feel
they
sorry
have
for
to
them?
get there, sometimes just because of the heat. And I feel like being in all that zombie makeup, and they had to get there at 3 or 4 a.m. or whatever it was, and get all of this makeup on, and then you're tired all day, and then you're also like in the sun, and
Did you ever see a zombie flip out? Like, I'm not fucking doing it again. I'm not dying. I mean, I'm too hot in here. The prosthetics, it's too much. I'm done. I'm not doing anymore. You're paying me shit. Because that's what I would have done, I think, if I was a zombie after a while.
I feel like
I would
people
have
were
flipped the hell out.
Yeah. I don't remember any of that. I always remember thinking it was interesting, like just seeing the zombies like hanging out, like all the actors that are playing zombies, just like sometimes I would take pictures of them like playing on their phones or eating Cheetos and stuff because I just thought it was really like kind of funny to me, and I'd be like, this sort of like bizarre life that like incredible life that I'm living where I'm like on this zombie show that like
I have a
20
picture from
million people watch.
20 million people. I have a picture of the old Planet of the Apes movies.
Oh,
where
yeah.
one of the apes is just having lunch, and
Okay.
somebody took a candid picture of him, and he's just eating in his
Yeah.
full makeup and everything. And I always just found it really interesting.
Yeah.
So I know what you're saying about that. But yeah, I mean, that's really, being an extra, I have one of my close friends, his name's
Yeah.
Troy Rudolph, and he lives in Vancouver, and he's an extra in like everything. He does extra in stunt work. They call it background.
Yeah.
So sorry if I offended anyone.
Yeah.
But those hours are like, and they get bossed around. Move here, come here, do this. I want you crossing on this line. And they don't really, some
Yeah.
of them don't get a lot of respect. And it's a really difficult thing. And I couldn't imagine being a zombie with all these prosthetics and being yelled at and told what to do in this Atlanta heat in the middle of the summer or whatever.
It's
So probably
actually
tough
a lot
job.
of work.
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually was an extra a few times in New York. Before I had an agent and stuff, I would submit myself to like Central Casting or was it called Central Casting? I don't remember these like casting agencies that do. So I used to do background work once in a while.
And it's not easy, right?
Well, it is long days.
It's long days. You don't get paid a lot.
Yeah.
But some people, he's made a career out of it. He's made a living. He's
Wow.
He's done some work. He's had some roles, small roles, but he's just one of those guys who's like, I enjoy doing this, and if this is all I do for the rest of my life. And to me, that's passion.
Yeah.
He has passion in what he does. He loves acting.
Yeah.
And I always respect him for that. I think that's really amazing. But I don't think people realize the amount of work that goes into like 1 hour dramas. A lot of times the half hour shows are, they're a lot easier. But you guys have probably second unit, and you have.
We would. By the end of the season, it was doing catch up days on things we didn't quite get, or yeah, sometimes, yeah, a second unit.
What's a question you were never asked that you're like, why don't people ask me about that?
Oh man.
Did you ever hook up with anybody on the show?
Well, I mean, it's not that I dated. I mean, no, I yeah. We'll just
The
say
answer
yes.
is yeah. Does everyone know about
Should
this?
we just say yes? And well, I mean, for one of my like longest boyfriends that I've ever had was from the show, and that's he played Randall in season 2. He fell on a fence, and then you can't. If you remember that scene, he was in a few. I don't know how many episodes he was in, but yeah, that's one of my like. I usually don't date people very long, like maybe 3 or 4 months or something.
In general?
In general. But he was like, we were together for like over a year, and I mean, we're still friends.
I think that's the most important thing. Is like
Yeah.
people say, well, you can't be friends.
Yeah.
Why not? I always say 99% of the time it doesn't work out. And the 1% it does work out,
Yeah.
50% of marriages end up
still-
in divorce.
Yeah.
You have a 0.5% chance. So
Right.
just enjoy it. Enjoy what you have. Enjoy the moment.
Yeah.
And see what happens. I've
Right.
learned that.
Yeah.
Am I wrong? Am I wrong about that?
I think you're right.
Really? Who was it
Enjoy.
first?
I think it's good to enjoy the moment. For sure.
Your music, you also got to do some of your, because you love music, and we haven't really
Yes.
talked a lot about your music, but
Yes.
you have albums, woman.
I do.
You have albums, and you actually did a song on The Walking Dead.
I did a few songs on The Walking Dead.
Well, I know
I did-
one, The Parting Glass.
Okay, yeah. So that was the first one that Beth sang, and that sort of like established her as like a singer, which
What was the
rad. Wait, Parting Glass?
Yeah, how's it go? Don't you love when I do this? Do you think?
Of all the money that e'er I had, I spend it in good company.
Isn't everyone watching you when you sing
and
that?
all-
Aren't they like?
yeah, they're
yeah.
around the campfire.
That was, yeah, I remember.
It's one of my favorite scenes we've ever filmed. And I remember that night, only because it felt like I was like at camp, you know? We were all like, had just had like this really long week all together. That first episode of I think that was season 3. And
Before everybody really died.
before we find the prison, yeah.
Right.
So the whole episode
Well,
was
no,
like,
what's his name died? The old
Oh.
guy, not Herschel. Herschel died later. The other old guy who was on the top of the bus a lot and hanging out with a gun.
oh yeah,
What the hell's his?
Jeffrey.
Jeffrey.
But-
He was one of the first big ones to die, right?
Yeah. Well, he died in season 1 though, right? Or no, season 2.
Two.
He died in so this was so season 3, but this was like as we're finding the prison. And that whole week before we had shot all these scenes all together as a group, just kind of like going through the woods and like fighting zombies, and it had just been like a really long like first week, and then we shot this scene at night on a Friday night. And I just remember being like so happy, you know? It was like one of those moments you like put in your head
This is
as like
why
a
I'm here.
picture.
This is-
Where you're like, this is so fun. I love all these people. This is really fun.
It's a great feeling.
Yeah. Yep.
Do you miss it?
I miss it, but I don't feel like, oh, I wish I was still there, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like,
sure.
I miss working on the show. I miss an actor I miss working on the show for lots of different reasons. I miss the people. I felt like I was starting to really I feel like I did some of my best acting work on the show. Like, it really made me do my best work because of the other actors I was working with, and I was so comfortable. And I feel like that's one of my things where it's like, it takes me a minute on set to sort of like feel comfy. Like, I have to
Sure.
get better at that. You know, like
Yeah.
but you know, like, because I'd been on the show for so long, it was like in a way easy. So I miss like so far as like acting, I miss having like a steady gig and a character that I loved. I really trusted the writers. They always wrote really amazing stuff for Beth. Like, I miss the show and the gig, but you know, I don't want to play Beth my whole life. I want to play
Sure.
all kinds of characters. I think as an actor, that's one of the reasons you feel like you have all these different kinds of people inside of you, and you want to sort of like key into like these different
Sure.
aspects of
and
yourself.
You do that.
Yeah.
You're one of those actors, an actor's actor who, you know, you don't wait for things to happen. You make them happen. You're like, hey, they want you for a role on The Flash. You're like, great. They want your role on The Arrow. Great. That
Yeah.
sounds like fun. And you do it and you have fun and you do whatever and you explore and you get out. And it's not beneath you to take a recurring role or whatever, especially if they're a hit show. I mean,
No, yeah, and like it's fun. Like I just think it's fun, and it's fun to do something different. So like I do miss the show, but like it's been so fun after the show. Like I feel like I'm enjoying. Like 10 Days in the Valley comes out October 1st, and that one
Plug it, baby.
Yeah, I mean I loved.
And where can you find that?
It's on ABC. I think it's Sunday
10 Days in the
nights.
Valley.
Oh no, maybe it's competing with Is it at 10 o'clock? I don't know.
Doesn't matter. You're not on Walking Dead anymore.
Anyway,
you can compete.
But it is fun to. It's fun to play new characters. I don't think if I had stayed on for all this time, it would be the same situation. You know, I look back and I'm like, oh yeah, of course I miss the people probably the most. Like I felt like we all became really good friends.
Sure. I mean, it gets to a point probably where you're like, all right, how many zombies can I kill today? It's the long,
right.
Even like when I was on Smallville. It was
it
was awesome. I could always say it's great, but it's like, yeah, did you get tired of it? Well, sure, after 160 episodes,
Right.
But it's not like you don't love it. It's not like you don't cherish those moments. It's not like you don't miss those moments, have fun. But there's a point where in life, you do this, you move on. Everybody moves on.
You move on. You don't want to stay in high school forever. You don't want to, not that it's high school, but you have to move. You have to keep moving. Well, you can't
because eventually all good things must come to an end. They just have to.
Yeah.
Eventually Walking Dead has to end. I didn't go, Talking Dead, you've been on that a few times.
Yes.
I have been asked to be on it, and they should call it Fear of the Walking Dead because I felt like I would go on there and they'd quiz me. And I would need to know stuff, and I love Chris Hardwick, but I wouldn't go on because I was like, I'm not a diehard fan.
But you know what they
fans
do?
Would kill me. They probably hate me.
No, but I think you'd be okay because
I couldn't name the dude who got killed on the freaking bus. Henley, what's his name?
I know. I can't.
Don Henley.
I can't think of his. I would be scared. This is what scares me at conventions because it has been a few years since I've been on the show, and people will be like, blah blah. Like they ask me questions, and I'm like, remember.
I don't watch it.
And then I feel like a horrible person because I don't this thing that's been such a huge part of my life and still is a huge part of my life. I mean, I'm still going to conventions. I still go to like Walking Dead events.
But why would you why would I watch
don't remember. Yeah.
Why would I watch Smallville season 8 when I wasn't on it?
Yeah.
Let's just see what they're up to.
Yeah.
No. There's no reason for it. Beth's gone. Although you did come back for one thing at the so your music. 2011, that was the Blue Toothbrush time.
Yeah, I want to say like 10, 11. Yeah,
right.
But that's when I was playing. So around the time that I got Walking Dead, I had started playing shows in New York, like a lot of like club shows, mostly Rockwood, pianos, like really random bars. But and then it was that summer that I was working on Walking Dead that I started these. I had been all finished with this album, or not album, EP. And had started writing the next album. And yeah, so Blue Toothbrush. But that was a much more like jazzy sort of... I worked on it with my friend Conrad, and I would say my sound has definitely changed since then. It's still lyrics and poems. A lot of my songs start out as poems.
You have a lot of words in your songs.
Yeah.
You really tell stories. And I know one of your idols was Tom Waits.
Yeah.
It is Tom Waits. He's alive, right?
Yeah.
Good. Thank you for that. You like to write lyrics. And I think when I'm listening to them, I'm like, wow, that's really a beautiful voice. And the lyrics, I'm like, how does she remember these songs? They're just like, but I guess if they're a part of you, every song is a part of you.
Yeah.
You're telling a story. And it feels like, have you had a lot of heartbreak? Or do you feel like
you know what? Now that you're asking me that, I don't know if I've had any more than any other person, but I do feel like I've had a lot of heartbreak. I mean, I've had a lot of...
Well, I listen to the songs and some of these songs...
I feel like I've had a lot of relationships that have been... You know how you were saying just enjoy it for what it is? I feel like have been disappointments.
Really?
Or not disappointments. I also feel like I do write about that because it feels like something that Or maybe it's that like when I went to New York, I started dating a lot of different kinds of people. And it's interesting to me. Like, I do find dating and, like...
Do you fall in love quickly?
And,
do you fall quickly?
It depends on the person. It depends on the person. But I think I do. I like people. I mean, I'm an actor.
Sure.
So, like, I find something about... And then I'm like, oh, that's really, like, cool. And even if it's not something that could sustain, it's hard for me to like, yeah, like I love people. So I guess I do kind of fall in love quickly. But also like I have this job like you do where like your life changes a lot. So I think I've had a lot of heartbreak because like, you know, what was working for a few months isn't going to work when I'm out of town doing Walking Dead. Or what was working while I was working on Walking Dead isn't going to work now that we're back in LA and for some reason it just doesn't translate. Or what was working as a long distance thing doesn't really work day to day. So like, and I also feel like because I get so emotionally invested in certain projects, sometimes then I can't stick with, it's like I only have so much bandwidth as far as like emotional, I don't like what I have to give. Availability. And I feel like sometimes if I'm really into a part, it's hard for me to then also be really available in a relationship type way.
Expired
do you
love.
do you relate to that?
I do. I'm not the greatest at relationships. I've tried.
Yeah.
I was in one for I guess almost a year.
Yeah.
We weren't on the same page. I think that's the problem a lot of times. And you know, you try to work it out, but it's not like the person's bad or you're bad or
right.
You know, as long as you're honest and you're open,
Yeah.
it's like, hey, this is what I'm doing. You know, it's just like you can't hate the person. You're like, hey,
no, of course
you know,
not.
So I always try to be just honest, and you know, sometimes you become friends with the person, and sometimes, hey, they can't be friends, or you can't be friends.
Yeah.
And I think relationships, it's tough. That's why
it's tough, and I think that's why it becomes something that I write about because it's like it's a mystery to me. It hasn't really worked. I mean, there have been times. I would say the one with Zegan, that was a very successful relationship. That was really
Zegan?
The Randall from Walking.
Oh,
like
yeah,
the
yeah.
year, I would say that was like, even though it didn't last, I would say that was like a very successful relationship.
Rob, look him
like,
up. I want to see a picture of this guy. Look up Zegan.
I would say that was very like successful in like for whatever reason, like in our communication, like it was just.
Or
it
you're
was.
just growing as a person. It helps you.
Yeah,
grow
it helps you grow as a person. But other ones have been, I mean, even to get to that point, that took how many years of like meeting different people. It always felt a bit like a mystery. Like, how is this going to work? How, like the communication or feeling like one of my first boyfriends in New York City. Oh, this is good. He was an actor and was going back and forth, and he actually had another girlfriend in LA. And like, I had never had someone do that to me. So I feel like there was something about New York City when I moved to New York City. The people that I dated in Nebraska, like, I'm not saying that
no one
Nebraska
cheated,
guys
really.
are better. No one did anything like that to me.
Yeah.
No one was like actually like
you got to
tricky.
live and learn.
You know, no one like tried to trick me.
Right.
And
Well,
I feel like in New York-
wait. Was he in a, like you thought you were in a relationship? He was like, I love you.
We
you're
were
my
in a
girl.
relationship. Like
Okay.
he was staying
Then-
at my place every time he was in New York.
Yeah, he's handsome. He's a handsome
Oh yeah,
guy.
he's very handsome. Yes, he's very talented too.
Oh, great.
Great guy.
2014. Go ahead. You want a relationship? I want to.
Oh no. I was just saying yeah, it was definitely like he had another thing here, and
Well,
then
that's cheating, and that's bad. That's dishonest.
It sucked, and then it was like when I would bring it, you know, he like definitely straight up lied to me about it. But I think that was not the start, but yeah, kind of like where I was like, oh wow, I can't believe someone could do that to someone else.
And you know what? Thank you for my second EP, Expired Love, because that fucking guy got Expired Love written. And then you started writing, I guess you did, it wasn't that long ago, 2015, you did the first full-length album, This Is War, right?
Yeah. I mean, Expired Love was pretty much a full length. I mean, I think it was like 9 songs. But I just called it an EP because I felt like it was like, well, this isn't like there's more kind of thing. Like I want there to be something more complete later.
When you play at the Troubadour, when you play all these like sold out shows, how many are fans of yours from the show?
Yeah.
A lot of people show up from the show. Are they really supportive of your music and their fandom?
I think there's both Walking Dead fans, and then there's also like people that are truly like music fans, and whether they found it because they were like, oh, Beth sings, I want to look up her music.
Yeah, if you suck, they're not going to follow. So you gotta be good.
And I did have like a little bit of a following from like playing those shows in New York, and like my stuff had been on, especially Expired Love, like got a little bit of like radio play in a couple places.
Yeah.
and like I remember someone saying they found my music on Pandora and like different so like there's definitely a mix of fans. But there's also a lot of Walking Dead fans too, which is awesome.
And Back in Love, Back on Love.
Yeah.
You love that song.
It's a fun song. It yeah, it was well, when I was writing it wasn't fun. I was like crying my eyes out, but I remember being like, this is going to be good.
Because it was just real. It was visceral.
Yeah, it felt good to write that song.
No, I used a big word. Good for me.
It's kind of about like when someone makes it into like an addiction, like they like play with your mind. So then you feel like you're always like.
And they're in control.
A little bit.
Ugh.
Like they try to like, yeah, like in the words, if you listen, I mean, it sounds like it should be sweet, like back on love, da, 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 but it's like, I talk about how like, oh, he said that my ex-boyfriend was boring. He says that the moon is the sun. He says the anxiety can be the source of lots of fun. Like all of these, like sort of a little bit manipulating, like.
And it's more of an upbeat song.
It's an upbeat song.
So I like how you have this darkness in an upbeat song, which is like the juxtaposition is. Well, it's cool because like, you're mostly these sad, it's usually slow melodic songs and they're sad.
Yeah.
It's like this upbeat songs and you go, wait a minute, but listen to the lyrics. It's kind of fucked.
Yeah.
It's a little dark.
Yeah.
So you're a little dark. See, we started in Wayne, Nebraska
Uh-huh.
with you doing these little shows and everything. And then we got to New York and through it, we've seen some broken hearts and some drinking, the bramble, the gin bramble. What was it? The
gin brambles.
The gin brambles. Sweet ups. And it's like, so we evolve. And this is what's happened. I think sometimes we have to get our feelings hurt, our heart broken to write good songs, to make people feel, to be a better actor, to be a better artist, to be a better person. You have to grow.
Right. And I think too, in my music, it's my place where I can sort of write things that I don't, I feel like in the past, sometimes I can't, I think I'm getting better at it, but not always being able to say exactly how I felt in the moment, if I'm in a dating situation or whatever. And so I feel like for me, a lot of those songs, especially on Expired Love and on This Is War, it was like, oh, this is exactly what happened and this is exactly how I feel from completely my point of view, and it gives me a chance to like put it down and feel like my side is heard. I
like it. And you put it out there.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, that's pretty much why
me.
I write poems. Like, no, I don't really like share those things with people, but I do it for myself to be like, no, this is how I feel. Just to like, so that I can kind of, because I do feel like sometimes when you're in a relationship and you're having conversations, you can sort of be like, wait, but I see their point of view. And like, I feel like I'm very, I do think I've had actually people say like, I can be very like empathetic in the way of like, I go, oh, I see where they're coming from.
Yeah.
Like I see how, and then, but what I feel gets lost.
Yeah. It's a very thin line.
So I feel like for me, music, especially in these earlier relationships that I had with guys, lots of times that were older than me, it was my way of like getting to sort out how I feel.
I'm listening. I'm just like, look,
you're giving me this.
Well, no, well, it makes sense. It's just like, I get it. I do get it. Fan questions. You like fan questions?
Yeah, I saw that you Instagrammed that. I was like, oh, I wonder what people will ask you or send you to ask me.
They were kind of cool questions.
Okay.
This wasn't a question. It's my question. Would you ever go back to Walking Dead? If they said, hey, come back for 2 episodes.
Because it's maybe, yeah. I mean, I love playing Beth.
People have asked you that, right?
Yeah, I think if it was the right situation, maybe.
Come back so you could, well, I guess you died, so it had to be a flashback.
Maybe like a flashback or something. Yeah, I mean, I don't.
Or just come back as a zombie for 1 second.
I don't know if I want to be a zombie anymore. It's funny, when I was first on the show, I was like, I want to have the whole Walking Dead experience. I want to do the whole thing. Yeah, no, I was like so pumped. And then after 4 years, I was like, I don't want Beth to be a zombie. I just don't really. Okay, I'm good.
That's about
I've had
zombiehood.
enough. No, well, I just had been around zombies so much, and I was just like, I'm good.
Yeah.
Maybe that's boring, but.
Keith J. Spencer 6. Any new acting gigs besides 10 Days in the Valley coming up?
I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure yet. I'll keep you posted. Nothing that I can tell you about.
Sunny Moraine. Beth was one of my favorite characters on TWD. That's The Walking Dead.
Okay.
If you didn't know that.
Yes.
And I think it's so sad that she never got a funeral. Do you wish the group had given her one?
Well, she didn't get a funeral, but if you remember at the end of the episode, it was like this very epic, like slow-mo Norman, Daryl carrying me, and that became such an iconic thing that I almost think. And then like my sister just cried, like Lauren just like crying her eyes out. Like I was like,
that was your funeral.
I feel like that was enough. I mean, if we'd had a funeral too, it's like what even,
ekinney.twd.
Yes.
Out of all your songs, which is your favorite to perform?
It changes.
That's
depending
a great title. Oh, that's not the song.
Yeah.
It changes?
It changes depending on how I'm feeling. I always love playing Expired Lover because...
Love.
No, the name of the album was Expired Lover.
Expired Lover,
right. Because it's interesting to me, that song was meant to be such a downer, and then it's interesting to me when the audience laughs at certain points, and it's always a little different. That song I love to play because I feel like there's a conversation happening between me and the audience. Like they listen in really close, and I feel like that's when I know if everyone's with me, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Green Gibbons, what's your favorite Walking Dead episode you were in, and why?
That I was in. I think I really liked doing the one with Norman because I think it's called Still. Just because that was for me a chance when I got to know Beth really well. Like sometimes on the show they didn't necessarily tell you much about your characters or didn't want to give you any idea of where it was necessarily headed, which is fine. It was just like they wanted things to be like a surprise or like secret, you know. But that episode, Beth talks about her childhood. She talks about like how she feels about everything going on around her. She says like, oh, when this happened, you know, to Maggie, or like when I lost my dad, or this is what I imagined my future to be. Like I loved that episode because I got to finally I got to know Beth even more. I loved that one. I also really loved doing in season 2. There was an episode where like I tried to commit suicide, and I just like, for whatever reason, I really loved that one. I think it was because of one of my first chances to really get to do stuff on the show. And so I remember just being like really excited and nervous.
You are a great singer.
Thank you.
Songwriter. You do musicals, plays, TV shows, movie. I mean, you really do everything, I would think. And my advice to you is to write a musical, because I think it would be an amazing musical.
Thank you.
You know?
I'd love to.
I think you should, because I think you've got some good music, and it just seems like you love it. You get the best of both worlds. You know?
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know?
that'd be really fun. You're not the first person to tell me that.
Oh, great.
So I can say that you were the one to guide me. I don't know.
Yeah.
I would love to. Yeah. Yeah, I think
it's
that
not
would
advice.
be.
I just thought.
No,
wow,
yeah, it's a good idea. I mean, it's definitely in my brain and in the atmosphere somewhere. For me, you know, I guess finding what that story would be that I'd want to tell would be important to me. Like with songs and short story, like I write a lot of short stories. You know, there's like usually some sort of spark or something happens during the day, or I have this phrase bouncing around, and I feel like a need to sort of expand on it and sit down and actually do the thing. And I feel like for musical theater specifically, there'd have to be that spark. There'd have to be that drive to be like, especially because like to write a full-length musical, of course, is a lot of, work. So
I won't be in it because I won't do 8 days a week.
Okay.
I just want you to know that. So.
Well, what if I wrote like this amazing part just for you?
We'll talk about it.
You could play guitar in the show.
Ooh.
No, I think I could come up with an idea. It just hasn't been on, I'm trying to do like a lot of different, I feel like I have a lot of projects in my brain.
It's good.
Like that's one of the things when people are like, oh, don't you want to start this kind of class or that or whatever? I'm like, I have so many projects in my head that I just need to get to those first.
It's all in my head.
Like before I take on another hobby, or something.
Also, you saw that scooter I have down in the basement.
Yeah, I want one of those.
They gave me a scooter, fat scooters. So I want you to get one. So hopefully they'll listen to this, because how fucking dope are they? They're
really
not even
cool.
like they're not giving me money to say this. They're just
they're
awesome.
really cool.
They're like they go like
I saw your Instagram post and I was like, I want that scooter.
Fat scooters, man. They're awesome. They
Awesome.
really are. Well, look, this has been fun.
Was this good enough? I wasn't sure if I was going to be good enough for your show.
No, I'm honored to have you on my show. It's been a pleasure being inside of you today. Did you have fun?
It was so much fun.
You know what happens is
once.
Could you say that again a little louder? Right, deaf in this ear. Willy Wonka said that once. But it's been a real treat. I got to know you, and it's interesting coming from Wayne, Nebraska, and the whole going to New York and then going back to Nebraska and saving up money and then coming back and then doing plays, and getting cast is so hard. Let alone plays to movies to TV shows to all this, and you work nonstop. Walking Dead is a fan favorite, and I think actors around Los Angeles, they also, everyone loved that show. I'm a huge horror movie fanatic. We didn't really get into that.
I know, yeah.
So I love zombies. I was really upset when Romero died, and it was a fantastic show. It's still going, so it's not like it's over.
Yeah.
But I really enjoyed this. This was fantastic.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
And what's your Twitter handle and your Instagram?
Oh, it's all Emmy Kinney. So Instagram is Emmy Kinney, EMMYKINNEY, and then Twitter's the same.
And
Emmy
any
Kinney.
conventions coming up?
I don't know for sure. I go to a lot of the Walker Stalker ones. So if you check out what your Walker Stalker one is, there's a bunch in different cities. There's like a New Jersey one coming up, Atlanta. I think I'm going to one in Japan soon.
Maybe we'll write a song sometime.
Me and you?
Yeah.
Okay.
It'll be like an endless love song, like Lionel Richie and Diana Ross.
I'll write a song with you.
Did you guys hear that? You guys come up with the title, and we'll write the song.
Yeah.
That would be fun.
Yeah, send us tweets of song ideas.
This has been fun.
That'll be really fun. I'd love that.
Yeah. Thanks for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Told you it'd be easy. You forgot about.
I got so nervous at the beginning, you guys. I've been like holding this.
But then
pillow.
it went away.
Now
We
I'm
just started
better.
talking.
Yeah.
We just started talking.
Okay.
Yeah, the great thing is if they ever get bored on anything, they just fast forward.
That's true.
Or they say, it was great. It was one of the best podcasts ever. And they didn't even listen to it. Thanks, Emily. It's been great.
Thanks.
Take my headphones off
Bye.
now. Thanks. I want to watch Masters of Sex.
Was it any good?
Yeah, it was
Okay.
great.